Hello. Welcome back, everybody, to New Tales Retold. Brandon and Dylan here, and we are at episode 30. Had a good weekend. Got DC Fandom, ALGS, Apex's, I guess you say professional scene starting up, and a couple of little thoughts that I have here on the MCU that we'll get to later on. But first, we can start off with our DC Fandome. I didn't realize that's how people
There
pronounce
was
it.
an E in the end.
Yeah, I know. I realized I spelled it fandom. Fandom. Learn
Mm.
something new every day. We had a few trailers, gaming, and movies and stuff. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, being one of the ones that I'm actually pretty excited for. I feel like it's a very
I feel like
it'll be a fun game. I
it's
think
gonna
it'll be a fun game.
it's gonna be a combination. It looks like it's gonna be a combination between the old school Ultimate Alliance and Left 4 Dead, but it's gonna be DC themed. And you're gonna
Yeah,
have to fight the Justice League. I'm a little curious to see how this team is gonna beat the Justice League.
yeah,
To be honest, the only thing I can really think of is one of the leaguers are gonna help them. From what it seems like, the Flash isn't too affected by Brainiac. I'm guessing it has to do with his speedster, like his powers and everything, like I guess digesting
yeah. He has a was it
a
fast
strong,
metabolism?
fast immune system, everything,
Yeah,
everything's
everything.
fast. So maybe he's kind of fighting it, and he's gonna kind of help them.
Yeah. We also do see in the trailer, late in the trailer, Wonder Woman fighting Superman.
But that could also be before.
It could be before.
It could be during the
yeah.
process of them being taken over. She had to fight Superman.
Yeah, which obviously Superman would in the end end up winning. But
Yeah.
especially if they're
Well, it depends
fighting,
on the writer.
especially if they're fighting just straight toe to toe strength.
Yeah, and if you think
Yeah.
about it, with Brainiac's influence, Superman's probably like bloodlust.
Yeah, he's
completely.
not holding back. He's not
Yeah.
holding back shit.
Well, then again, Superman's strong enough mentally to try and resist and hold, at least force himself to hold back a bit.
Yeah. And it's funny. I'm glad that you said that because that was my first thought of how this squad is gonna take on the Justice League, and it's like we saw Batman's Batmobile, we saw Green Lantern, you see
The Flash.
the
Wonder
Flash,
Woman.
you see it's like how the hell
We
are they
didn't
gonna
see
take
Martian
on?
Manhunter.
We didn't.
We also didn't see Hawkman and
No.
Hawkwoman. Who else didn't we see? Um, it was someone else. I'm thinking Cyborg.
Yeah, that's
You
huge.
did not see Cyborg. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I like
It
the
seems like they're going with the old school group
mhm.
before Martian Manhunter joined,
Yeah, which is cool.
which it would be cool because maybe they could also show Green Arrow. There's a lot of Justice League members they can show.
Yeah, a
Because
lot.
if this takes place during the peak of the Justice League, they had so many members. So many members.
I'm curious. It's funny because you mentioned how it'll be like very Ultimate Alliance, Left 4 Dead. Makes me wonder if it'll be a multiplayer where you'll have that option to play with multiple people.
Thought they confirmed it was a multiplayer game.
I don't remember. Honestly, I haven't. Not that I don't remember them mentioning it when they were watching.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. I had this thought of if it was gonna be solo and you can like you were saying Ultimate Alliance when you can choose and swap your character in the middle of playing,
Yeah.
or if you'll be like Left 4 Dead where you're playing with multiple people.
Yeah.
Because you even get like the little Brainiac creature
Minions,
things.
yeah.
They're very Left 4 Dead vibes.
Yeah, of course. You're gonna have the Brainiac's minions are gonna be the regular enemies, and you're gonna have mini bosses, which is gonna be the little monsters, and then the
Yeah.
main bosses are gonna be the Justice League.
Yeah. Which during the trailer, one of those big mini bosses were ripped in half. They didn't show who it was. I'm pretty sure it's Deathstroke. It's the only other
yeah,
person
it
that
is
would make
multiplayer.
sense. Yeah,
Mhm.
nice.
It's a multiplayer
It's
game.
gonna be fun. That's gonna be really fun.
And it's interesting because this game was made by Rocksteady,
Mm-hmm.
the people who made the Arkham series.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights wasn't.
Well, I know, which is weird because if you want, we can get into that. Gotham Knights. It's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
We get our little trailer to Gotham Knights, and you almost have an implying that this is after the Arkham series.
Yeah, but at the same
It's kind of
time,
weird.
didn't you hear the Joker in the trailer? And Joker's dead in the Arkham series.
No, you didn't. This game, at least I don't remember hearing the Joker when I was watching it last night. It's straight focus from what it seems like on the Court of Owls, and I mean it makes
Well,
sense. I would have liked
but
to
then
see
we
Batman
also
face him.
see the Riddler's hinted at.
Yeah,
We see
Penguin.
Penguin.
But it's almost as if they're nothing. They're like, yo, like we're small fish compared to like the way Penguin's like, you sure you want to go down this rabbit hole? You sure you
Yeah.
want to take these people on? Like this is like you faced me before, but this is different. Like this is a whole new
But at the
level of
beginning of the
enemy.
trailer, they made it seem like it was all the villains shitting on the Gotham Knights. All four of them. Like they were shitting on all of them. Like, yeah, you're not Batman.
Yeah, and I mean they're not, but
They're not. I mean, Dick Grayson did become Batman.
yeah. But I don't know. It depends how they're gonna do it. It's weird because you got the what they show the tombstone. It's like that's a Arkham ended like that. Arkham ended with you thinking with everyone thinking Bruce Wayne is dead and Alfred's dead and Batman's dead and then you get that little hint.
But no,
in
the way you
after
can tell they're
credit
not
scene.
connected is at the beginning of Gotham Knights, he says how he blew up Wayne Manor.
That's how he died in the end of the Arkham series.
Is that?
Mm-hmm.
I've never played the
Yeah.
end one. I've only
That's
played
why
the
it's
first
so
two.
confusing. That's why I'm like, is it a continuation or not? Because it feels like a continuation. And it would make sense the Court of Owls to finally show their
No,
face
because
after
in the
Batman's
first
gone.
trailer, he didn't say that's how he died. In the first trailer, he said he blew up the manor
Well, yeah.
as a contingency of his death.
Wait, what are you talking about?
In the first Gotham Knights, the very first Gotham Knights trailer, it starts off with Bruce talking and a recording to all four of them. And he said that he died, and as a contingency, he blew up.
Well, yeah, that's what happened in the Arkham series. He died. He blew up the mansion
With himself.
and then no, he's alive still. We get a little after credit where it was like you low-key kind of had the vibe that he went a little darker because it shows some people beating some people up or robbing someone in the alley. And they turn around, they see like the whole a guy standing on the roof, but then it starts getting like very scarecrow vibes, like the way Batman looks, very creepy, and then he just rushes into people robbing the person, and it ends.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
I don't see it being connected, considering it's a completely different company.
yeah, that's what you said that just now, and I was like, wait, huh?
I think those are just all coincidences.
Yeah, I mean,
I think this is just a way for them to maybe have a great story and probably make Batman the leader of the Quarter Owls.
that would be crazy.
Like, that's the only thing I could really see happening.
That would be pretty wild. I mean, it would give it would make sense to him being the greatest detective, and it's like it's a cool idea having that villain underneath his nose the entire time. But at the same time, it's like with how good he is, it's like can they really hide under his nose?
And
Like,
it's like another thing too is, I thought Jason Todd died. Like,
you're right.
didn't he die?
No, he
No,
didn't.
he didn't.
No.
What happened to him after you beat him?
I don't remember. I don't remember what happened to any of them. Honestly, I know you can play as some of them for a little bit, but I don't really remember the series. It's been a little bit. That was the last one. Was Arkham City, Arkham Knight,
Origins.
or no? The last one was when you couldn't explore the city. That I was playing not so long ago. You have the Batmobile.
Well, you were able to
around.
explore the city from Arkham City.
Oh really? I don't
Yeah.
even remember the old.
Yeah,
old
Arkham City.
ones.
You
Yeah,
explored the
okay.
city. Yeah.
'Cause you had Arkham Asylum, then you
Well,
had.
in Arkham City, you explored Arkham, the city of Arkham,
Mm-hmm.
and then you
And-
explored Gotham.
Yeah, yeah.
and
That's what I
Arkham
meant.
Knight.
Yeah, the Arkham Knight was when you explored Gotham. Okay.
Yeah, and then Arkham Origins, I believe, was before that. Yeah, I think Arkham Origins was before. That's when, it's the Origins,
Yeah.
the beginning.
I would have. It's cool to see the Court of Owls in a video game, but it had me sitting there thinking to myself, I would love to see the Court of Owls as an actual live action villain. That would be a true for an
Wasn't-
old
weren't they?
Batman.
Weren't they a villain in one of the movies?
No, they're
No?
actually new in the
No,
comics.
I'm
They came
getting
out
it
not
wrong.
too
They
long
were
ago
in
the comics.
one of the animated things, the Court of Owls.
Okay. Yeah, I
And-
would love to see live action. And it would be great for an old Batman. You have like Ben Affleck's Batman. A Batman who's pretty much on the verge of retirement.
Yeah.
And then right before retirement, you find out about this huge crime organization that's been living underneath Gotham and pretty much operating things, and it'll make Batman question a lot of things that have happened. Seeing a villain that can do that, hide in plain sight, and for him to never see it, it would truly, like, I feel like that's a really good way to test Batman's, like, mind, like almost drive him crazy in a way of, like, they can taunt him, they can do this very, like, you're not as good at your job as you think it is, and even have him think a lot of the things that went down, who's to say we didn't let it go down the way it did.
Yeah. Oh, well, I doubt this would be the same Jason Todd, because it says that he changed after, because in the Arkham Knight he was put into the Lazarus pit by Ra's al Ghul.
That's right. Yes,
So that means
yes,
he
that's
did
right.
kind of lose
And he was
himself.
going a little loose. Yes, I
And
do
I don't
remember
see
that.
him working with the other three
Yeah.
if that's the case. And they
Forgot
never
about
showed
that.
him with the Red Hood outfit. He only wore the Arkham Knight outfit until
No, they
until
did
afterward
the
when
helm, like
yeah,
the
when it
outer
broke.
layer of it
Yeah,
broke.
it
and
showed
was
that,
red.
which was dumb.
Yeah, because that Arkham Knight outfit was
Like, I think
crazy.
if it was anything, you should have just taken away the Red Hood outfit and
Yeah, left
just
the
left just the
Arkham.
Arkham Knight
Yeah,
outfit.
so that outfit was sick.
Everyone was so disappointed that was Jason Todd when that game first came out.
Yeah, because it's like you didn't. I mean, granted, it makes sense.
But
Like,
not only
who
that,
else to
exactly
know
why it was too
Bruce?
predictable. It was, I think, the first half of the game everyone was predicting that Arkham Knight was Jason Todd,
Yeah,
and they were all right.
I mean, yeah, because who else other than a Bat
I mean, come
member?
up with a new villain
Yeah,
for
that's
the
true.
game,
That's true.
Arkham Knight.
Because I did that with Spider-Man, right? The black and white guy.
Oh yeah, the negative.
Yeah, I forget his name. I'm like, what the hell is his name? Yeah, that
Like
guy.
Mr. Negative or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I'll be. Yeah, and what? Now, speaking of, we're talking about like how will Suicide Squad play. I'm curious how this game will play. Because we have all these different members of the Bat family. Is it going to be very Left 4 Dead like where you can switch between characters?
Well, no, they confirmed this game they confirmed was straight multiplayer.
Yeah, but that's sort of like that. What I'm wondering is like, you think we'll have like, let's say, character specific missions, then we'll have missions maybe where you can choose whoever, or will we have missions where you'll have multiple Bat people, and maybe you'll play different perspectives on the mission, or even have them both together and you can swap between the characters. Like,
So I see it either working like Halo, where it's like we have our story, we play through the story together, and we can pick up whenever we want, or it'll be like Far Cry, where let's say you want to play with me, you gotta join my story and progress my story, and if you want to progress yours, I gotta join yours. That's the other way I could see it being done.
yeah,
Because
because how else do you
it's
pull that off? It's
really hard to
straight,
do a multiplayer RPG game.
yeah, for it to work.
That's why most multiplayer RPG games just become MMOs.
Yeah, because just make it an open world online.
Yeah,
Just
a
makes it
massive
easy.
online multiplayer game where you have servers. It's kind of hard giving everyone individual
Servers, yeah.
servers. GTA has that, but it's just like you're so limited with the amount of people, which makes sense. You're only gonna have 4 per
Yeah.
server at most. But I don't know. It's gonna be weird.
And we got a couple other things. Was the Peacemaker show?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this is actually being ran by James Gunn as well, so it'll probably be pretty fun. The usual comedy along. That's the thing. He's really good with his rated R comedy. It's like let's give you something funny for adults.
I wasn't a big
And,
fan of him in Suicide Squad.
Oh, James Gunn.
No, Peacemaker.
Oh, Peacemaker. Because it's one of those things where it feels like he's still playing John Cena. It
I feel
doesn't
like
feel
he's
like
always
he's playing.
playing John Cena.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Peacemaker, and I feel like that's where we're gonna see that difference. Where we've always felt that way with The Rock, but I don't think we're gonna see that with Black Adam. I feel like he's going to be Black Adam. We're not gonna see like The Rock. But
I don't know. I still find John Cena funny.
yeah,
Don't find it funny.
he does some funny shit. I find him a little funny. He does some funny shit. But I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna like. what I don't understand of why they're doing this. I mean, granted, it makes sense business wise. You're gonna make money. John Cena, it's a DC movie. James Gunn's directing. Whatever. But the character is dead. Like, wow, how long are we gonna keep doing prequels? Like, not just even DC, like Marvel too. Like, well, like
Yeah.
let's move on. Like, unless that flashback is gonna show us something significant. Let's say Black Widow, for example. We haven't seen the significance of that movie. You get what I mean?
Well, we're gonna see. Should see it in Hawkeye.
Hopefully, yeah.
Remember the after credit
Yes.
scene?
So that's what I mean by it. Like, is Peacemaker gonna have a significance toward the rest of
No,
the
I doubt it. This is
DCEU?
the DC universe,
Right.
DCEU we're talking about.
Which we'll get to. Let's talk about these trailers first, and we'll get to because I actually have that written down as conversation. But yeah, one thing is pretty cool is they did give him his eagle, his little eagle in the end, which I'm assuming in the show will die or fly away because it wasn't in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So, well, one of the funniest parts of that trailer though, he was talking about butt babies. He was talking about his brother when they were kids. His older brother told him there's two types of babies: babies that are born normal and babies that are born that come out the butt. And those babies are usually ugly and stupid. So he's just like, yeah, I'm a butt baby. I just sit there like, bro. This part that shit had me crying. That was so funny. And we got a cool little sneak peek into Black Adam.
Oh yeah.
That looks fun. Like it's funny when we were watching it and you were like, man, I hope he doesn't talk much because The Rock speaks like
The
a
Rock
lot.
doesn't stop talking.
And not a word out of his
Yeah.
mouth in this trailer. And I had seen it prior. So when you said that, I was sitting there like, don't you worry.
Yeah,
He
because
ain't
The
gonna
Rock
say
talks
shit.
a lot. He talks
Yeah,
a
but I don't
lot.
think we're gonna see much talking in this
Cool.
because that's I feel like that's Black Adam.
You know,
He
he
doesn't
only
need
says
to
what's necessary.
speak.
He says what's
Yeah,
necessary, and that's it.
and I feel like The Rock's gonna carry that really well, really well. I feel like it's gonna be pretty dope, and showing off the bat like the savagery, just grabbing homie and disintegrating him, complete skeleton, drop to the floor, and just
Yeah.
like I don't care who you are, what you are, why are you calling me? Because obviously that's from what it seems like. She found whatever temple she said Shazam, and he appeared. So
Well, if I'm not mistaken, like in the actual story, the original Shazam, the one that gave Billy his powers, Black Adam has been after him. I'm guessing they're able to find that. How? Who else is gonna put that there, other than the original Shazam?
yeah,
So that was probably like like not necessarily a signal to get him there, but he saw it. He was like, okay, that's where he's at, and
yeah.
that's where I'm going.
He's yo. You can see the sheer mass of the
Yeah,
Rock in that damn costume.
which is
Like,
perfect because they always depicted Black Adam as fucking huge.
yeah. So that's gonna be the Rock's a damn monster. It's gonna be cool. I want to see him face up against Superman. It's gonna be a good fight. And they're actually introducing a decent amount of people in this movie. I didn't realize it until I watched a little like.
The whole Shazam family.
No, we're getting Hawkman,
Yeah,
Cyclone, Atom Smasher, and Doctor Fate all in this movie.
yeah.
Which is I'm curious to know how this is gonna go because Black Adam can be an anti-hero at times. Like I've seen moments where it's just like, oh man, the whole universe is gonna get destroyed. Fine. Like what was it? I was watching some little
No, but I wouldn't really call
um
him an anti-hero for that. I feel like all villains do that.
yeah,
If it's
yeah.
someone bigger and badder than them that's gonna destroy the universe, they're
I
gonna
gotta
stop
help.
them. Yeah, but it's just I would never consider Black Adam a anti. He's a villain. He's a straight villain.
That's a huge team for him to face though.
Black Adam's brolic.
Granted, yeah, you're right. Because Adam Smasher is okay. Adam Smasher is like what do you call it? I would call him not really like the Hulk. Like he can grow, can gain his mass and density and do all that stuff, but he has his limits to
Yeah,
it. And Hawkman is Hawkman. The person that probably carries super hard is Doctor Fate.
but even then, it's gonna be hard using magic against Black Adam.
Mm-hmm. He can. He's pretty much Superman with magic.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun fight. It was a good tease, good tease. And then we get another little sneak peek of the Flash. Yo, he's so awkward. It's hilarious. I love it. He's just like, yeah, this is the set where we filmed. He's like, everything's dark in the background. Like, bro, what are you talking about?
My thing is, he said, "Oh, we don't have a trailer," and then proceeded to show a trailer.
That's because nowadays a trailer needs to be like 6 minutes showing the
No,
entire
a trailer
movie.
just needs to be
Like,
a minute long. That's it.
yeah, like the minute long shits nowadays are like, oh look, he's a tease or a sneak peek.
No, that's a trailer.
Like that's because people want to see the entire movie in a trailer.
Like, I don't understand this whole thing with wanting to see trailers. I'd rather just watch the movie.
Not even that.
Save
It's
time and save like that's it. Like especially movies this big, where all you gotta do is announce you're gonna do it, and then people are
Yeah.
gonna go watch it.
That's so true.
Like
I agree
I
with
remember they
that.
did that when they were gonna do that with Star Wars. They said they weren't gonna release a trailer, and in the last like month they released like 3.
Yeah.
It's like what? And it's funny. You wanna know whose idea that was? That was Adam Driver's.
Really?
Kylo Ren's. Yeah. He was telling them that they shouldn't release a trailer. That it'll hype up the movie even more, and it would have. People would have
Yeah.
been so hyped not seeing a trailer.
Yeah, it's like right now the Marvel for the Eternals. It's like every day I click on YouTube
There's a new trailer.
and
New
it's
sneak
not
peek.
even it's
like-
like it's like a 30-second to a minute clip of the actual movie, and I'm like, when did we start doing this? Why don't we just like do
release
what
movies.
exactly what the Russo brothers were talking about? They for Endgame, what they released 1 or 2 trailers, no after credit scene. They were like, we want this to be like back in the day when you used to go to the
Yeah.
movies, like.
But they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
it's too much.
have
Too
to
much of
know-
a fast market.
No, you have you have to remember they make
And we're
money
talking
off
about
of
the Flash.
they make
fast.
money off of all these trailers and sneak peeks when people go watch them.
That's true.
So of
YouTube
course
views
they're
and
gonna gonna milk as much as they can and just post whatever they can. I mean, if the company allowed them, I bet you they'd release the entire movie in bits and pieces online
shit. Yeah, right.
just to make all this money. And then release the movie in theaters and then have people go watch it.
Yeah, that ass people would too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Flash. So for the Flash teaser, we got or trailer, I guess you can say.
I feel like that's all trailers should be, teasers.
Yeah, right. We got to see a couple things. His new suit, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of. That whole glowy. I don't know. Maybe the CG just looked weird or something, or maybe that I don't know. Something about the outfit looked a little
Uh-huh,
too cartoony to me.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it looked weird to me. But it did have a what's that? What's the where he had the whole armor and had the light coming up.
Injustice?
Injustice, yeah, it had Injustice vibes to it though. Had Injustice vibes to it.
The animated movie came out, I heard.
Oh, really? That's something we could talk about on our next episode, 31. That's actually good. We could do that. But yeah, we got a little look at his suit. We got a little look at him saving his mom. I'm assuming Reverse Flash is the main villain, unless they somehow switch it up to someone else killed his mom. And then we see 3 of him, 3 Flashes, which is
We see
weird.
2. The other one was Supergirl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I kept mistaking the symbol on the fucking chest. I kept
Yeah.
looking at it like, that's another speedster.
She
It's
looked
like-
good. She looked a bit
Yeah.
weird in the outfit when they first showed her in set pictures, but at least in a little bit we see her in that scene.
Yeah.
She looked good.
Now I'm curious as to
I
where they're
just-
gonna go with this Flashpoint. Are we gonna see Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa like go head to head like we saw? Like
They confirmed she's Kara,
who?
Supergirl, or is that?
Oh, that I don't know.
or
I'm not
is-
gonna lie. I don't follow DC too heavy.
Kara, I think that's her name. Curious. She doesn't look like her.
No, because isn't Supergirl blonde?
Yes, Kara is. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm getting the name correctly, that was her human name. Then yeah, she was
Oh.
blonde. But obviously, wouldn't matter not making her blonde.
Yeah.
Even just her not even. It doesn't matter if she's blonde or not. I just feel like she doesn't look like Kara. I feel like the chick from the show looked like her.
Yes, the
A
chick from the
lot.
show was spot on
Yeah.
for CW show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't see
Yeah,
her as Kara. I see her more of Superman's daughter.
I know what you're talking
than
about.
Korra.
I can see that too. I can see that too. I don't know. I was very. I guess you could say I'm very indifferent about the Flash from what we saw. Like it's like okay. Like I see, we see your idea, but it's like, are you gonna be successful at it?
Well, it's Flashpoint.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is instead of him going and dealing with Aquaman and Wonder Woman, he's dealing with Supergirl and another version of himself. Because in the original Flashpoint, during that whole time, the Amazonians and the Atlanteans were going to
Yeah.
war.
And they were literally gonna destroy the planet
Yeah.
because of their war.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I'm wondering. Like what's happening here? Like what's the purpose? What did you change? Because that's what he changed before.
Mm-hmm.
On top of obviously other things, but that was the gist of the problem. Their war was destroying the planet, and it happened because he saved his mom.
Well, that and Bruce Wayne died instead.
Yeah,
And
so it's like
the Joker was his mom became the Joker, and his dad became Batman, who killed.
What are we gonna do here? You know, like what are we doing here? We obviously see Batman, which is Bruce Wayne, because Keaton was playing Bruce Wayne.
Keaton was playing Bruce Wayne in the old movies
That's what I'm saying.
that are not connected to this.
That's true. That's true.
Unless they're pulling this whole multiverse thing.
That Marvel's
But
doing, yeah.
yeah, but other than that, from what we know, that those movies are not connected to these. So for all we know, he is playing Bruce Wayne's father.
Yeah, because what's funny, we have a scene where you see his cowl, blood everywhere. Could just be him after a fight. Like, all right, I gotta take a shower.
Yeah.
That job. I think he's gonna crush it though. I think he's gonna crush it as a dark Batman, especially if they make him like an actual like a killer.
I don't know.
think Keaton
From what
got
it
it.
seems like they're trying to make this an MCU.
Yeah, I know. It's just comedy's cool, but I feel like with the tone that the DC movies are in, that they direct them in, like this, the whole vibe of them
You gotta take that out of your head because that was Zack Snyder's tone. That's not.
But that's the thing. They all still somewhat carry a more serious adult tone to them, and then they just throw in this comedy that almost doesn't even make like it's not funny. It's almost like awkward and like kind of cringe and corny.
But
At least that's how I feel.
But other than the Zack Snyder movies, what movie was dark like that?
Let's say if you would have taken the comedy out of the first Wonder Woman had that serious adult tone to it. That's what I mean. Not dark, but the adult
But that was
tone.
still during Zack Snyder's time.
Aquaman could have had that if they eliminated the comedy. That's what I'm saying. It's the moment they include that let's have fun with it. Let's make it, let's throw in jokes and here and there. That's where it gets like, oh, okay. Like I don't know, DC would be much more successful if they just catered toward the adults.
I feel like if the moment they got rid of Zack Snyder, they completely took away that tone. Because really think about the feel of the movies ever since Zack Snyder stopped working on it. It just literally started to feel like MCU movies.
I understand what you're saying now. Yeah.
Like that whole tone you're thinking of, that was Zack Snyder trying to do that. But we're not gonna get that anymore. He's no longer a part of this.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't want a full-blown universe. He had a beginning and an end.
Well, he now doesn't. Now he wants to. Now he wants to continue because they forced him to do this universe. And now that he wants to do it, they're like, no. They wanted to force him to do the universe, and now that he wants to do the universe, they're like, no, you're not going to. Like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, which we can get to. Oh wait, we have one more thing because I do want to talk about just DC as a whole. But we even got our trailer to the Batman. Robert Pattinson's Batman. What's funny, I feel like when it comes to how movies feeling a certain way, this movie feels very Christopher Nolan, right? The Dark Knight trilogy vibe. I was just like, I'm like, okay, I kind of like this, a grounded Batman. I do like the grounded Batman. Like in the comics he is capable of like, being in the Justice League fights and all that. But I feel like on screen it doesn't really look right.
Yeah.
Like especially during what was it? The whole abomination abomination? Not abomination. What the fuck is his name? Doomsday.
Oh.
The whole Doomsday fight. What the fuck is Batman doing? So it's like having him on that more grounded level.
But they gotta do to get away from him being literally physically involved in these fights.
Yeah,
because he was the tactician.
yeah.
He thought of tactics. He's the one. He saved the day with his mind, not with his fists.
Mhm.
When it came to these fights,
Yeah, especially the
and they
big
have to start
bats
emphasizing that he's coming out with all these big machines,
and
fighting with
gadgets.
them. Like,
Yeah.
no, that Batman did do that, yes, but at the end of the day, it's his brains that he was the reason why he's there.
Which I think we'll get that not necessarily because obviously in this movie he's just in Gotham, but we'll see that more brains detective from what it seems like,
Yeah.
and that's pretty
That's what they, yeah,
exciting.
because I
Yeah.
remember reading that they said this is going to be more of a detective movie
With
than it will be of like an action movie, which is going to be cool. One thing I don't
even
know
though I'm
if
sorry,
you,
even though the action still looks pretty fucking
yeah,
crazy.
but it was a few things. It was one thing that kind of bothered me.
Uh,
What with all those moments where he was just standing there trying to look like a model?
I have a feeling they're probably still not even done with shit. I feel like this is another trailer where they kind of threw together what was already done and
And you
finished.
think just they just did a
It's
few
stills. Think
takes?
about it. It's all stills.
Yeah, because
We didn't see. We
bro,
saw
remember?
one somewhat CGI scene when he was breaking through that glass,
Yeah,
and that was a quick second. Like we didn't really get much
it's just like I
crazy
was watching the
looking
trailer and
effects.
it was a few times they just showed him just standing there, like trying to be a model, and I'm like, uh, why?
I fuck with the suit though,
The suit looks pretty cool.
and it's
Um,
finally bulletproof. About damn time.
hmm
Batman gets a bulletproof suit. Although I'm not sure how I felt about him just walking and them just shooting at him. I'm like, I want to see Batman,
yeah,
hiding in the shadows and just taking you guys out, not just like I'm gonna approach you. Even though it was a very
yeah.
cool and
I
interesting
just
like
hope
shot.
they don't do all of that badass stuff. From what it seems like, it might be that way. I hope they don't make it corny.
Yeah, I don't think they are. From what it seems like, so I don't know. I'm like
But
low
like you
key
said,
super obsessed with
he's
this.
like all this walking through, getting shot at. He let himself get shot, looks at the man, then grabs him, and it seems very dramatic so far in that
Yeah,
trailer. Like it seemed like they were like dramatizing a lot in the trailer.
I don't think it's that. It's from what it seemed when you watch the trailer, it seems like we're gonna have a Batman that's not all there.
Which
Like
I don't mind.
there's a scene where he's like beating the shit out of
And I remember he's
somebody,
like, "I'm
and then
vengeance."
and then Catwoman's standing behind him with this look of like, bro, what are you doing? Like you're doing too much. Like you can see she's looking at him, she's looking at him afraid. Like what the fuck? I have a feeling we're gonna see, which would
Which
make
I don't
sense.
mind, but I feel like a lot of the scenes with Robert Patterson with Batman, not talking about the overall thing, like
Yeah,
with Batman, it seemed very dramatic. Like not kind of, he seemed over the top.
you think so? I don't know. I didn't get that vibe. I felt like it was a very. I feel like this is it's. I see what you mean. I
I
feel
feel
like
like
we
they're
could
gonna
see
take.
it. It seems like it'll be dramatic only because. Excuse me. What we're talking about, I think the other day was how I was saying this seems like it'll. This is Batman when he's first kind of becoming Batman because
Yeah,
it's a younger actor, and then even Alfred is an actor younger than the previous actor, so it's like we're getting they kind
yeah,
of aged everyone down a bit. So I was like, I feel like this might be it. This might be that's why you have that dramatic. He's has
yeah.
that. What's my limit? What's Batman's limit? How far does Batman go?
One thing I noticed though, compared to Christian Bale's Batman, is during that moment where he's talking to the person through the glass and then he gets angry. And I don't know, I didn't get the vibe that he was angry, even though he's supposed to be
I
angry at that
agree.
moment.
Yeah, that one scene. That one scene, I was sitting there like,
You're supposed to
that's
be
the one
mad,
part of the trailer that I was like,
but you don't seem
I
mad.
don't know. I didn't. Yeah, you didn't feel like a
But then
significance to
when
it.
you watch Christian Bale, it's like, yo, when he's beating the Joker, he looked like he was pissed off beating the Joker.
And speaking of villain, I'm so glad we're getting the Riddler,
Yeah,
man.
that's gonna be
Like,
cool.
finally. I mean, he's the one person that bring out the detective, to really bring out the detective
Yeah,
aspect
yeah, really, yeah,
of
because you would have to
Batman. So
do his riddles. But the thing
exactly.
is, I wonder how they're gonna do it because they're making it seem like it's a group.
I'm not gonna lie. At first, I thought they were gonna make him turn into Hush. because the Riddler
Yeah.
Enigma ends up it is Hush, yeah. But the moment we saw that question mark, I was like, okay, he's
Yeah.
the Riddler, like 100%.
I don't know, I just hope they don't
Yeah, I
make
don't
it
know.
too drama like,
Yeah, but I
because
have
a lot of Robert Patterson's movies are that way.
yeah. Let's see. Catwoman seems like she's gonna play the role pretty well. Oh, and that's another thing. I'm glad that we're finally gonna see. From what it seems like, we'll see a much more serious Catwoman Batman relationship. We've gotten it
And she
teased
pulled
that.
out the gun.
We got it teased that, but like this seems like they're gonna full blown like
Yeah.
you know. He said she pulled out the gun. What are you
Yeah, she
talking
pulled
about?
out a gun.
That's what I'm saying. That scene where she's afraid of him. She's like, yo, this guy is fucking nuts. But that's probably where that relationship will then come in because he'll have that darker side, and you
Yeah.
know then that would be cool if we just see like if they gave him his own little Batman universe and we start to see that type of Batman where he'll have relationships with these female villains and maybe even partner with a villain or two to defeat that bigger villain, and it'll be pretty interesting.
And one thing that's kind of weird is you're saying that this is supposed to be the origin, but they
No,
already.
this is what I'm assuming, just because of the cast being younger.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't think so, because he had the bat symbol, and it was
You're
broken.
right, and then they end up breaking it. Yeah,
So that means he had to have been Batman for a
yeah.
good
Because then
while.
if it was an origin, it
They
would have
wouldn't have
probably
that.
ended with them having the
Yeah,
bat symbol.
yeah, it would have ended with the
Yeah,
bat symbol in the sky, trying to call for Batman. But no, they were breaking the bat symbol, so he had to have been Batman for a good while already.
yeah. Already established.
Plus, he already had the whole suit hooked up, bulletproof, and everything.
Oh man,
And
I'm
he had the
like low
Batmobile,
key really hyped.
fireproof and explosion proof.
Yeah, I know this guy, Colin Farrell, man, as the
Yeah,
Penguin. Like that's crazy. You hear it though. You can hear it when
yeah,
he
you
speaks.
can.
And you're just like, yo, these makeup artists are phenomenal. But I wonder how this is all gonna go. Like, um, I want to talk about DC just as a whole because there was something I was thinking about last night, and it made me question if it was the right thing. So you remember how this was a while back when we were reading how Stan Lee didn't want one person or company or whatever to own the rights to every character. He wanted to see his characters being portrayed in all these different he wants to see his characters portrayed in all these different ways and all these different perspectives.
Yeah,
That's exactly what we're getting in DC. They have their shows happening in CW, they have their little series happening on HBO Max, they have the DCEU, we have all these different things.
man, if only they did that shit and let Zack Snyder do his thing at the same time.
But yet I feel like that's the problem. I feel like that's the problem, and it's because it's just unorganized. Like for a good example, which it had me think about after I thought about all this, was the Suicide Squad. Was a good example. You have a Suicide Squad movie that's whole part of the DCU, and you even give Harley Quinn her own movie, which I've never seen. You do Birds of Prey and you do all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you low key, but without outright saying if it is or isn't, reboot it, and that's still also part of the DCU. We're also gonna reference the old movies in a way. Like I don't know. I feel like they have too much happening, and I think that's the issue.
The only issue is the fact that they wanted to make a universe and connect it. If they were gonna do this whole all these people make different movies, they shouldn't have done that in the first place. They if that was that what they were gonna do, they should have established the writers and the directors and the people working on it, and let the other people do their thing, and not try and get all these things and just like, hey, they're all connected, but we're gonna separate the movies, but they're connected.
But that's the thing, like the CW and all that is like the CW isn't
It
connected to the
is.
DCEU.
Yes, it is.
That's right, it is. It's part of the
Yeah,
multiverse.
that's what I mean. Like they're having all these people do these individual projects and then telling everybody they're connected instead of just writing them in the idea, hey, they're gonna be connected.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's the issue, and it's with that being said, they also didn't have time to get they didn't give themselves time to gain their footing. I feel like if they would have patiently waited, given every Justice League member their own movie, and then do it exactly how Marvel did it, and then do a team up.
Well, not exactly how Marvel did it, because Marvel gave everybody a trilogy.
No, yeah, but I mean, like, give everyone an
Like at
introduction
least one
first.
movie,
Yeah,
yeah.
because they introduced half of the original members of the Justice League in one movie,
Yeah.
and it's like there's no Zack Snyder did the best he can introducing. Because granted, we did get Zack Snyder. I'm envisioning this without.
Snyder Cut.
No, no. Let's say if the Snyder Cut would have came out instead of the Whedon back in the time,
Well,
right?
unfortunately, the
We
Whedon
didn't
one's
have
one I'm part of.
we didn't have Aquaman movie at the time. We didn't have the Flash was first being introduced. Cyborg was first being introduced. So it was like you introduced all these people immediately in one, like in a team up movie, and you only waited, what was it, 3 movies for a team up movie? What we
Yeah.
have? Man of Steel, Wonder Woman,
Well,
and Batman versus Superman.
Batman. That's when Wonder Woman was introduced. She was introduced
It,
in Batman
that's
versus
another
Superman.
see good another one where you're introducing people not in their own, and they're like characters. It's like
Yeah.
it's not like Wonder Woman's some side character in the comic books. Like no, Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman, bro. Like you go to any house and you say Wonder Woman, they're gonna know who the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, but I didn't mind that introduction only because if you really think about it, she's an Amazonian. Does she? Yeah, you would want to see the beginning of what made her explore the world, but at the same time, she doesn't need one.
Yeah.
Unlike
Yeah.
someone like Aquaman who lived his life on land, how did he become king? But
Yeah.
which was good because when they first introduced him, he wasn't king yet.
Mhm.
All that stuff that happened in Aquaman didn't happen yet.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a prequel. That was after
Yeah, it did happen
Justice
after. That's
League.
true.
So it's like that makes sense. They did that good. The way they organized that was well. The Flash is the only. Well, again, it's gonna be after. It's
Mhm.
not necessarily an origin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, with at the same time too, I can understand the not having origins. It's like at this point, all
We
these
know,
characters have been out
yeah.
for almost 100 years. Most
It's
people already know their origins. So,
understandable for the fact, if they were doing this, which doesn't seem like they are, just doing this for the comic book fans, because the comic book fans
yeah, we'll
all
understand.
know this. They
Mhm.
all know the origins. They all know how they became who they became. And especially if you don't plan on changing that origin, what's the need to do it again? It's like the same thing with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's origin was the exact same origin it's always been in the MCU. It's why they didn't need
Yeah.
to show you how he became Spider-Man again.
Yeah.
We've
That has to
seen
be
it
a whole waste
4
of half a movie.
times.
That's so true. That is so true. I don't know. Hopefully they get things, they gain their footing. Cause I love Batman. I love the DC characters. Like Superman's awesome. I as much of a Marvel fan that I am, I don't see a lot of Marvel people handling Superman and Batman like the
Okay.
people at their tiers.
Actual
Like,
combat.
yeah, like I just think they're awesome. Like Batman, I love the way Batman is, the personality of the character, everything.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's just
Spider-Man
like,
still beat him.
yeah. Batman fans out there are screaming. All right. But yeah, good luck, DC. I want to go on to the next thing. ALGS Apex tournaments just started back up.
Apex Legends Global Series.
Yes, Apex Legends Global Series, and there's been some hiccups, man. One thing that I've sat down and I've tried to look up, and it seems like it was like just completely brushed to the side, was people being caught, like people caught cheating.
But it was cheating during the qualifiers.
Yeah, and
Not the
yeah, and
actual
that's why it's
tournament.
such an issue, because the
Yeah.
tournaments started already. So it's like is it yeah, I personally, like, I understand. Okay, let me gain my thoughts, right? So I understand why it could be hard to, let's say, go back to doing qualifiers, right? You
Mhm.
probably have dates for certain, with partnerships and other companies set to do certain things and all this other, TV companies. You probably got offers with ESPN. We're putting this on this time, and we're doing
Yeah.
this at this. You'd have to change everything. So that part of it I understand, of why it would be almost impossible to go back. But at the same time, it's like, what message is that sending out? It's like you had cheaters during the qualifiers, and all the people who were actually there that weren't cheating, that were actually busting their ass to try to get in, and probably could have got in if it wasn't for the cheating teams.
I was really thinking about that, and I feel like that's debatable. Because think about it, there were people in their groups that beat them, even though they were cheating.
Yeah,
So I
but
feel like if you were good enough, like the people that beat those cheaters, you would beat the cheaters. Because
I
it's
agree.
when it comes to the comp, it's completely different than ranked. It's less mechanical skill and more thought process. And I feel like the cheaters, a lot of them were just relying on cheats for mechanical skill. Granted, of course, I don't agree with them. I'm not saying they should be cheating. I'm glad they're no longer playing and they got banned from playing. But I feel like if these people were good enough, they would have outsmarted these cheaters.
Yeah, but the only reason why I say that is because I sometimes the game can be very, granted, like you said, it's competitive, so it's played a lot different. But you can have those moments where it's just like being unlucky. You know how we were talking about, like, not every pro wins every match,
Yeah.
especially if they're playing pubs. Because if they just jump in, you can jump in around 6 people. They all have guns, and then you don't have one.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucked. But there could have, like, I guess, not having watched every fucking moment, there could have been moments where they just got unlucky, and unfortunately it was unlucky against one of the cheating teams. And it's like, how, what, like, what do they do? Like you said, it does make sense. Like, TSM would probably just slap any cheating team regardless, even if
Yeah.
they were aimbotting or were doing whatever.
Yeah, like
But
even if they can't confirm that they were cheating, they'll be like, "Oh, these people are hitting their shots. We gotta play smart."
yeah.
That's really all you gotta. Like, there's one thing you can obviously at that level, you can't just assume everybody is cheating, because look how good everybody is at aiming.
Yeah.
There are fucking moments where literally you've seen them poke their head, and within a second that
Yeah.
person's
Pow,
dead.
pow. You're like,
And
what
it's
the
like,
hell?
and then you'll see who did it, and you're like, "Oh no, that person guaranteed is not cheating,"
Yeah.
but yet they still did that. So it's like you can't just assume they're cheating. And if someone is hitting you with that many shots, you gotta play smart. TSM would. Any of the teams that were invited would. They would have played smart.
I wonder what they would have done if the people who did qualify would have, like, done some type of, like, strike or petition and be like, we're not continuing until it's redone. Like, that would have been like, I would have, I would have.
I don't
But
see them doing that, because
yeah,
at the end of the day, this is their paycheck,
yeah,
not
yeah, not everyone
EA's or
else's. Yeah,
response.
it's just the fact, like, I don't know. It's just the thought of, this is ALGS. Like, this is the
The biggest tournament in Apex.
Yeah. It's like the last time we had this tournament, how much money was in the pool? Like,
2.5, 2.8, something like that.
and for esports, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not like you can't compare it to physical sports like basketball and
Or
stuff.
even
'Cause, yeah,
League of Legends.
yeah, because, like, they're established. They've been
Yeah,
out for so long.
Dota.
But it's a lot of money being put out there, and I don't know, the fact that you went the entire qualifiers with cheaters and didn't find out until after, or didn't really process, I guess you can say, and, like, have the proof.
Well, it was the
Like,
players that put them on blast. People who died to them and watched them and
it's even
realized
worse.
it.
So you mean to tell me the people, the because I'm thinking about it as a company and business aspect. Like, the how doesn't the company catch this? Like, during, let's say, we all know that they don't have many people that are keeping an eye just on regular play, anti-cheat, right? Like, when we make our reports and shit. You would at least think during a tournament, you would at least fucking quadruple down on the people for that.
Again, you have to remember, this was before the tournament. This was during qualifiers.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a big deal.
This is not necessarily, because they have hundreds of people trying to play in these qualifiers.
Yeah,
They literally had to separate people by days.
no, yeah,
And
I understand
that's
that.
what I mean. There's
But
each game had only one person, because that's all Respawn had to give these people. Each person had only one person watching, and they can't watch everybody in that game. Even then, for the regular championship, there's only 5 people actually watching and controlling and looking around. So imagine if during the big tournament itself, you only have 5 people. Now imagine trying
from
to
a
do this.
company who makes $1 billion
Well,
in
of
a
course,
quarter.
no. Again, that is on them. They
Yeah,
should hire more people,
yeah,
but
that's what I'm
you have to
saying.
think about what they have now. They, as of right now, from what they have, they can't have 10 plus people and watching every match for qualifiers, considering that during the qualifiers you have like 6 matches happening at the same time.
Yeah,
So it's like it's hard.
they
Which
need something because I feel like that's a big deal. The fact that you
the
can't catch people during the qualifier, so that's saying you have the possibility of having a cheating team get into the full blown tournament.
Yeah, but to really think about it, no one has, because it's so hard to get away with it.
Yeah,
It's the little things that get you caught.
yeah.
It's like literally like when I was watching one of the people who were aimbotting, you had to see how he snapped, and it was literally for one moment where he turned it on to shoot from long range,
Fucking
and it just so happened at that moment the person he had killed prior was watching him, and he was just like, "Wait, what? What was that?" And then he went back to watch it again, and he's like, "Nah, that guy's cheating," and it turned out he was cheating.
That's wild. That's wild. But yeah, hopefully they get. I mean, Apex, like a lot of games, has its flaws. So hopefully they get as time goes, they gain better footing. But speaking of this tournament, little bit of what was the drama that we see happening? Little low key C9
Oh yeah,
Alpha Blood.
everyone's saying that C9 is griefing TSM, and everybody's griefing TSM.
I don't think everybody's griefing TSM, although that one that we watched just before we started recording.
Oh yeah, when they were like,
Yeah,
mad
that was
far.
a weird push.
The thing that it wasn't weird to push, it worked out for them.
Hold on, I'm
and-
sorry. Let's talk about the push. Where were they?
Okay, so it was during the moment, I believe it was game 4 or 5. Sheesh, which was it's Timmy, a prize and Icewig, had just came up from Geyser, and the team that was up there, I believe it was Intel, ESA, and Intel managed somehow let Sheesh just walk up on them from the Geyser, between Geyser and No Name. They walked up on that choke, literally walked up on them. Intel didn't down a single person on Sheesh. Sheesh was able to completely full heal, and during that moment, TSM decided to third party because TSM was literally on the other side, right down the hill, and I believe they were in No Name.
Okay.
And TSM, of course, saw that, was like, okay, push, and got up there to realize no one in Sheesh was down, so they had to go full in. Ended up getting 2 people down, and that's when C9 pushed them. It's a bit debatable. My only problem with the play was the fact that Zach called out the play. They saw so where Zach was by fragment. He was by Zach and his team C9. They were by fragment. They were by the little train tracks.
In between No Name and
Yeah,
Fragment.
but yeah, they were like in between then. Zach saw them fighting, noticed 2 people had gotten down on the team that had wiped, and called out the push. My thing is, right before that, Albarelli called out that there was 2 teams in No Name
And a team.
and a team behind them in Fragment. And Zach decided, hey, let's just push that team there. That's out in the open, that can get shot by like 2 to 3 different teams.
Super out. And,
Let's
and
just
it was
push.
forcing yourself into a choke.
And at the same time, right before that, when Zach was calling out the push, bro, both Albarelli and Naughty were like, I don't know. Doesn't sound like a good play. Of course, they ended up getting it because it was unfortunate TSM had
A fresh fight.
yeah,
They thought they were
How
going to clean up.
Hal was down. Reps had only popped a bat, had no health, and they had to fight that 3v2. But it's just like at the same time, why take that fight? Especially when your 2 teammates. Like, I feel like Zach got lucky with that. And
Yeah.
I say that because what happened later on was like Zach did the same exact thing. What happened? C9 got wiped.
Yeah, it was just one of those situations where no one else was gonna push that push.
Yeah. It just, they got lucky that no other team thought, hey, let's third party them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. You can't really say C9 was griefing them, because for all we know, Zach would have done the same thing if it wasn't TSM.
Yeah, because
He
They never outright,
said
especially
it's
when
TSM, go get them. No, they were
yeah,
Zach was
they
just
were
like
just like,
push,
look, that team's
push.
fighting up
Yeah.
there. It's like, I think a lot of it has just end up being coincidence.
Coincidence.
It
I
just
could
end up
see
being
it being
coincidence.
coincidence.
They end up being in the same area at the same time. They see a team
But the
fighting,
weird part is,
and
so they wiped them twice and then tried to do it a third time and got wiped. It's a little weird.
I mean, hey, it's gonna
That's a big
happen. You're
coincidence.
not gonna. It is definitely a big coincidence, but
And then Sheesh, two people fucking accused Sheesh of
really,
griefing TSM when they landed on them. Like that,
oh
not that was a
man,
great play.
I gotta mention. I want to mention that there was that I forget which fight it was, and TSM had two people on Sheesh down
Yeah.
or cracked or
No,
something.
they had two people down. It was
And they end up
Icewick.
losing still. I was sitting there watching, and then I see TSM die, and then Timmy's still alive, and I'm like, what
It
the hell
was-
just happened?
It was because right before he hit the ground, Timmy threw some hard stars.
And caught them
Yeah.
beautifully.
All three
Oh,
of them.
man.
Caught all three of them.
Leave it to Timmy and his damn
Yeah.
mark stars, bro.
It was to the point that he caught them so well that they were thinking that he stuck Hal.
Oh, for
Yeah, they
real?
thought he stuck Hal, but I was like, nah, I didn't get stuck. But it was a great play. It was a great play. Like, especially for the fact that they had the circle in that area. So
Yeah.
it was like, yo, it was a perfect play. They went up, they both rock ulted, they saw where they landed, and they were like, yo, we need to take that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. The positions of every other team, if they would have tried to ape any other team, they would have gotten third partied.
Yeah.
The position that TSM was going to, barely anyone was capable of third partying that fight without getting beamed by someone else.
Yeah.
So it was a really smart play on Sheesh.
Yeah. Deadass.
Another thing I have to say is, how do you feel about coaches
Yeah, I
being able to
saw
talk
that.
during the
I saw
matches?
that. I've been having that internal debate with myself, trying to decide how I feel about it, because it's like, I at first, Dan, you okay? That sounds painful.
No, I didn't.
Um, at first, I thought to myself. At first, I tried comparing it to physical sports, right? Thought to myself, when you're playing basketball, you can have your coach screaming at you, telling you what to do. But granted, everyone's on the court. You can see everyone on the court.
Yeah.
It's completely different when you're playing the game. You can't see where everyone's at. You don't know where everyone's at. And if you're not playing, then you can, and that's if you're playing, right? You don't know where anyone is. You don't know who's alive or what's happening. Or you only know about you and your team and what you can actually see at the moment. Now, when you have people that aren't playing, they can see everything. They can pan to whoever team. They can just jump on Twitch, whoever's streaming, jump on whoever's stream and see any team that's playing. Know where they are, know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Know how they're gonna rotate. That in that scenario, I'm not saying that's what they were doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
But
you have
it's
to
the
at
fact that
least,
it's a possibility.
you have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not.
Yeah, exactly. But
Because
it's the fact
these are all professional coaches.
Mhm.
I hope, because that's cheating, obviously.
That's
100%.
100% cheating.
So you gotta hope they're not doing that. But I feel like even other than that, teams with the coach still have an unfair advantage because that's a fourth head for them to give
yeah,
info, not
it's-
info, but their pretty much thought process
Mhm,
and kind of help them with plays and what they should do. Because
mhm.
think about it, the three people playing in the game, it's so hectic, adrenaline's pumping, you might make mistakes because of it.
Mhm.
Now imagine being not playing. You're
Yeah,
level-headed.
level-head, you're calm.
You're calm. You're
And-
analyzing everything.
Then again, that's giving the W to the person that's not playing. In a sense, you get
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's the person that's not playing's decision. That's not showing the skill of the people playing.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's funny because then I was talking to Beth about it, and she was like, well, why don't they just have why doesn't every team just have a coach? And it's just and I was
Not
that's
every
why I
team
tried
is
to
an
explain to her.
organization.
Yeah, I was like, most teams that have a coach have an org back.
Yeah.
They're backed by an org. I was like, if you, I was telling her, if you, me, and Dylan were nice and we were, we could go for the qualifiers, and if we were really nice, we can get in the tournament,
Yeah.
and we'll just random people who live in an apartment in
Yeah.
New York, and it worked.
She
Like,
legit says they're doing this for fun.
yeah, like they legit like
So
legit
it's
like,
yeah,
and it's
it's
like, and that creates that eliminates that equal opportunity,
yeah,
because then now everybody can join a tournament as long as you have the skill to
yeah,
join the tournament.
it's true.
But yeah, at the same time, it's like maybe allowing the coaches
To talk in between matches.
yeah, in between, or if there's a pause, which is rare, or if there's a pause. That should be the only, maybe when there's a pause, maybe because the game's still happening.
Do
So
they
it's
even
like,
have pauses? They don't do pauses.
no,
In
I
Apex.
just thought about it because you never
They did it in
know if something
Overwatch, but
goes
not in
wrong,
Apex.
like within the system. I
Yeah.
don't know if they do any of that. I know.
Well, the game's crashed on people before, and they just continue the games.
Yeah, that's another thing that gets me a little upset. It's like, yeah, like we were talking about before, the process of redoing things
But it's
is probably close to impossible.
yeah. The way it works
but
though is they only do it. They only continue the game if it's so far into the match. Like if it was literally right off the bat, they start the match
they jump
and then
out,
people
they jump
crash,
off ship.
they're gonna restart the game. But the problem with that is a lot of times people crash in the middle of the matches. Now you got teams by that point who probably have 10 plus kills.
Yeah, it's like, are
You're
you gonna
gonna
take all
hurt
that KP
them,
out from
yeah.
them?
Like, are you really gonna hurt them after they just put in so much work, and the next match they might get unlucky and not do anything and not get any kills?
Yeah, I feel like in every way it's someone loses.
Of course.
Someone loses, because then if you restart it, it's like that person loses all the KP, but now if you continue it, that person that got DC'd, something completely out of their control.
Like it
loses
makes sense
too.
because it happened a few times. No Cocoa Puffs in this tournament died to a bug because of alcohol.
I can't stand that. Like,
Yeah, so it was like it has its problems. Freaking those. I remember watching one thing during scrims. Sniped through his caustic ult and literally bounced off the wall and disappeared. Bro,
That's
and
crazy.
to make it worse, it was a perfectly thrown ult. 2 people were stuck in a room and couldn't leave.
Man,
He would have killed both of them.
that sucks.
And it's just like it happens, and it's unfortunate. But at the same time, what can you do in the middle of a match?
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Like, you can't. But
That sucks.
then again, they're not doing shit after the matches either. They're not fixing
right?
this shit.
Yeah, I know. There's no like, we don't hear anything like, hey, big wave of updates.
Yeah.
Like,
Then they even said that they're never gonna do an Operation Health.
it sucks. It sucks when you have a game that you love so much and the people that make the game don't seem to love it as much as the
No,
players.
they claim to love it so much, but my thing is if you love this game so much, you'd be willing to slightly reduce your own salary to put as much money into this game as possible. This game made $1 billion in
quarter.
2021.
Was
It was
it
a year.
Was it a year?
It was a year. In a
Yeah.
year, it made $1 billion. Really think about that. If this game is struggling this much and still doesn't and they still claim to have a small team, where is that money going? That $1 billion.
Right? Yo, that's true.
A lot of people are it's all back and forth. People blame EA, people blame Respawn. I just want to know who's controlling the money. Because if it's EA, then it is EA's fault. They should give Respawn more of a budget to hire more people. Now, if it's Respawn, they got to reduce their salaries.
Yeah.
Because they need to hire more people. You're claiming all this, like, oh, we don't have enough people. Then hire more. You made your game, this one game. Think about all the games EA has. This one game made $1 billion. Why would you not invest more in the game that's making you the most money?
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't even make sense. Honestly.
And it's like, and if EA is giving them that high of a budget, where's the money going? What is Respawn doing with it?
I'm sorry, I was just making sure it wasn't the because I could have swore I read somewhere of them making some obscene amount of money in just a quarter, but yeah, it was the.
I think they did. I think it was like over.
It was like over half a billion.
Yeah, I
half
think
a
it was,
million. Half a billion, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
In a quarter, it's like
yeah,
it's
it was some stupid shit.
bananas.
And
I mean, yeah, when you
doesn't
charge
make sense.
$20 per skin, it's usually what's gonna happen. Well, let's go to the next thing because we can rant about
real quick,
how
but my
the
thing is-
bullshit these
my
people
thing is-
do.
How high are these people's salaries?
I mean, you got
The fact that you have to make a hollow spray $10.
not even. What was it? A charm? Was it?
No,
Like
it
a
was a hollow
weapon
spray. It was a
charm?
Nessie hollow spray. $10 for a Nessie hollow spray.
Isn't that the price of the battle pass? Battle pass is like $20, $15.
Yeah. So it's like it really doesn't make sense. I was doing the math, and when I was looked online, they said they get about a few million people playing daily.
Wow.
So now imagine a few million people, and then every few days they change the store and add new stuff. If you were to make every individual item $1, that means bundles that have 4 items will be $4, and every individual thing $1, and only about 500,000 people buy that item. That's one item. They'd make millions.
Yeah.
Like that one bundle, they'd make millions. So it's like the fact that you have millions of people playing, you can make a lot of money, and on top of that, it being cheaper, more people are gonna want to buy.
Yeah,
and
because
spend
I
money.
could afford to spend more. That's
Yes,
that's how
like
most
think
people
about it
think.
this way: if
Mhm.
I'm gonna pay $10, why am I gonna pay $10 to get one thing? Or you can make it where I pay $10 and I can get 10 things. And think about it: the way the store works, no matter what, you have to spend $10.
Yeah, because we need to buy at
The
least
bundle.
$10 worth of tokens.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's like at the end of the day, you're still getting that $10,
Yeah, so in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but you're giving more of an incentive to spend that $10.
That's true. I don't know. I don't
And
know what their
For
logic
the
is behind all
fact,
that
and
shit.
also for the fact that when you go online, you have a bunch of people saying, "Respawn, EA, we're willing to give you money."
Yeah, if you just
Just
like stop
fix your
recoloring
game.
stuff as on top of that too.
Just make everything cost less.
Mhm.
Fix your game, and we'll spend the money. So that means even if you reduce the prices of this stuff, you'll probably still hit that $1 billion.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Because people will still spend what they were spending before. The only difference is
They're
they'll
getting
just
more.
get more.
Yeah.
Because they'll keep doing it.
For all you know, because they're getting the more, they'll spend more.
Yeah, because they think they're in a sense saving.
Yes.
And they don't realize you're just spending more money.
Yes,
but-
exactly. Like, I would really love to see the behind the scenes, to see what is going on, to understand why is it that they can't fix any of this.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's good reasons. Praying that it's good reasons. I
Titanfall
want to
3
give them the benefit of
Titanfall 3 trailer comes
Oh
out.
man,
it's like,
I want to give them
shit.
the benefit of the doubt, but from what they did with Titanfall 2, it's hard to.
Yeah, I know. It's
They're
like,
claiming, "Oh, Apex is gonna be this game. It's gonna last 10 years," but they said Titanfall 2 was gonna last too.
yeah,
And look what happened to that game. They just gave up.
poor game. I love that game. Let's go on to the next thing, because this thing
What
has
next
been
thing?
stuck in my head. Ooh, you. So I was sitting down just thinking to myself, how will the MCU introduce mutants, right? Not just the X-Men, just mutants in general, because they're a complete, just separate species, right? What do they call them? So, Homo sapiens superior.
Yeah, I was gonna say not a separate species. They're
Yeah.
just evolved.
Yeah, Homo sapien superior.
Yeah.
Wow, such an egotistical term, right? Homo sapiens superior.
I mean, that was the point, because
Yeah.
the person who came up with that title was
I
Magneto.
don't even know. Oh, was it? Okay, I was like, who the hell made up the name anyway? I
I
couldn't
believe it was
remember.
Magneto. He called themselves Homo sapien superior.
So, yeah, so, and that needs to be, if for those listening, keep that in your head, because there's a big part in what their race is with what I'm about to talk about. So in Jonathan Hickman's recent the kind of, I guess you can say, every few
Rendition.
years, say it again.
Rendition.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
rendition.
Every few years we get like a little, I guess, a little rendition reboot, kind of the characters, and we got ours for the X-Men, or the mutants as a whole. Because in the series, the mutants are actually working together. They literally are forming themselves as a nation on the island of Krakoa, which I'll talk about what Krakoa is in a little bit. But for obviously those that are listening, because you know what Krakoa is. But that incorporating this, right? Having let me rewind. So the mutants come together. Xavier is like, hey, Magneto, let's set our differences aside. Let's have all mutants come together, live on one nation, one island. We're all a team. Which, for anyone that knows or let's say only has only watched the movies are probably thinking, "Holy shit!" Like, imagine that. That's a huge team that's powerful as hell to have all the mutants working together. Um, Krakoa being a living island that
A mutant.
supplies a mutant, yes, yes, a mutant, that supplies everything. It's a little weird. Like apparently they're like there's literally trees that like will full grown grow like some random shit like cloth, and there you go, you make your clothing. Like it's like the perfect island that supplies everything for them. And along with that, it has three plants. So Xavier and Magneto decide we're gonna turn these plants into pills that humans can take, and it benefits human life. One pill ages lets humans live 5 years longer. One is pretty much the perfect the antibiotic, and the other heals all diseases of the mind, which I'm assuming is like dementia, Alzheimer's, all
Mental
that
disease,
stuff.
yeah.
All huge. Imagine humans only having one antibiotic for everything. Imagine being able to heal all those mental diseases and being able to live longer. It's enormous. But they only offer those pills to nations who recognize Krakoa as a nation. So think about that in the MCU. If this is how we were introduced to the mutants, this would be huge. Because we've had heroes come in and just join the Avengers. Help save the day here and there. But we've never seen a group of heroes change the world, change the economy, change politics, change every
Thanos
aspect
did.
of life. Aside from Thanos. And he wasn't a hero.
Well,
in his
I
eyes.
think it depends on the perspective you're on. Some people might disagree with that.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, we haven't had anybody come in and create that type of impact
Yeah.
in the MCU. And I would love to see that. To see the mutants come in as a unit.
Well, we're going to. With Black Panther, he's opening up the borders. Remember, he wants to start
True,
spreading
but
the
that's
wealth of
yeah,
Wakanda.
yeah, true. But that's the thing, though. Wakanda, at least with the 1% of people in power and influence, people they knew. I was watching Age of Ultron last night, and they were talking about Claw and what he was doing, and then Bruce is like, he's something about some country, Wakanda.
Yeah.
Tony and Steve knew exactly what Wakanda was. They
Mhm.
looked at each other and they were like, crap, because
Well,
they knew
of course.
that's where the metal from the shield
Yeah.
came from. So it's like it's a known country. Like imagine just these people just
It's a known country, but a lot of people don't think it exists.
yeah.
It's like
but
a fairy tale.
just
To most.
and at the same time he didn't pull up. He offered he's offering his resources. He's not like
Yeah.
in a sense the mutants. What do you call that? Not black.
An ultimatum. Giving people an ultimatum.
Yeah, it's like they're doing it to their benefit in a
Yeah.
way. It's like whereas T'Challa was just like, I'm gonna help the world.
Yeah.
And it's cool because then it immediately establishes that tension. I sound a little shivery because I'm actually kind of cold. I don't know why, but it also creates that tension because we've seen throughout the comics there was sort of like a racist aspect to mutants. A lot of people, even the Avengers, who are all powered humans, looked at mutants like, oh shit, who are these? Like, all right, I guess we gotta work with them. Like here and there, like there were very few relationships that were genuine. But then again, and I say that's I'm not including people mutants who were Avengers. I'm not including those people.
Okay.
But yeah, because we did have a few mutants who were just full blown Avengers and were actually never part of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And that's another way it changes. Not having a mutant in the X-Men, just having the X-Men.
Avengers.
Or yeah, and I don't know. It's pretty cool. It'll. I can't stop thinking about it. Like how they could. Granted, we lose a lot of people. We lost a lot of people who It would have been interesting to see that, like Tony and Steve, how they would have reacted if the mutants would have introduced themselves this way.
Yeah.
That would have been nice to see. Because I can see Steve kind of like, we got to work with them, and Tony still having that thought of the world needing to protect the world. Like now they're a threat. That would have been very interesting to see.
I
But
can see that still happening. with Danvers and Falcon.
Yeah. God. Yeah. This would be, and it would be unlike anything we've seen the mutants, like any way we've seen the mutants. Every time we've seen mutants, it's them fighting Magneto and Magneto's people, and people hate mutants, and then they're dealing with that racist part of it, and it's like to have the heroes in a way face the heroes in like a fake civil war would be cool, and then not only that, their stories, their individual movies would be insane. Because, like, right now in the comics, think about it. All the mutants are together for how long?
Yeah.
Not every mutant that was bad is just going to be good. So you're going to have the problems within them. You'll probably have a civil war within the mutants, within Krakoa.
But there's one big problem with all of this.
Mm,
How are you going to introduce mutants?
exactly. Because it's like, what, you guys been living on an island this whole time and
Or
it's
hidden
never...
amongst the people.
Yeah.
No one's ever seen anyone with powers ever.
Yeah.
All these villains are suddenly gonna become bad when
Yeah.
they weren't before.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only. I have a feeling they're gonna do some multiverse shit, like they did with Venom, where he just appeared in the MCU. I hope they don't, cause that'd be pretty. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about that. Like, I hope they give us an
know.
explanation.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't like if that's gonna be their explanation for everything.
Yeah.
Oh, why did this happen? Oh, the multiverse. Oh, why did this happen? Oh, the multiverse. Like, I
Yeah.
really hope that's not what they start doing. If they start doing that shit, I'm really gonna lose faith in this. Because it's like
the multiverse.
Please no.
How
Don't
is
do
this
that.
guy still alive, bro? The multiverse.
Like, he was shot in the head. His head blew up. Like, the multiverse. There was a universe where he survived it. Bruh.
That's true. It's like it becomes annoying when it's used as like an
Scapegoat.
escape. Yeah. But one other thing I want to mention too, because I don't know if we're gonna get this with the Eternals. One thing that was heavily incorporated in Jonathan Hickman's X-Men was they were in a sense immortal. That's
Huh?
another. They were in a sense immortal, which is another interesting thing.
They could reincarnate, not really be immortal.
Well, not even reincarnate. So what? Yeah, reincarnate. But what Xavier had all their personalities and memories saved in Cerebro. I'm only repeating this because whoever's listening probably has either if they haven't read it, they don't know. He had all the mutants' personalities and memories saved in Cerebro, and then had all their DNA saved with Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
So, and then he had his 5 mutants within Krakoa, whose all their powers were very random and didn't make sense, but together actually worked. I'm not gonna go through because it's, I don't know, read the comic because it's a really good damn comic. But each of them, like, one created like an egg that didn't have any life in it. The other created something else that then complemented that egg, and then eventually, literally, they would make a human. They would clone a human being that can live, and then obviously they input the DNA, and then he puts in the memories, and then boom, that person's born again. We kind of saw something similar like that in the Eternals comic, but in the Eternal, I want to say it was a 2009 series that ends up getting destroyed on them. So after that, they kind of are mortal. I can't. My R's are like terrible. Yeah. So I don't know if the Eternals are gonna have that, in the movie coming out. But if they don't, that'll be cool to see with the X-Men. Then again, I don't know how I feel about that unlimited lives thing, because then you could just kind of do whatever the hell. Although the X-Men comic didn't, they still made their deaths significant, because it was almost as if like Professor Xavier had this fear of like, but damn, what if this time it doesn't work? And what if this time I actually officially did lose this person? And so, yeah, read the damn comic. It's so good.
And it makes sense because like each time it does it hurts Xavier.
It does.
Because he literally has to watch them die over and over and over and over.
And he sees everyone as his children. He's like, these are all my children, and I need to protect them.
Yeah.
And it's at the point that even Magneto, Even Magneto sees all the mutants as his children. Even the people that he's not even a fan of. He's just like, I mean, I like you, but you're my brother.
Yeah.
You know, we're from the same family, so I'll protect you. I don't know. See what happens. I'm excited, yet nervous, because it's like, what are they gonna do here?
It's the MCU.
And one other thing too is the main faces of the series starting out were different. It wasn't just like, you know, what we saw in the old X-Men, where it's just like it was Jean Grey and Storm and Wolverine. Like the main faces are it's just a complete different group, which I would like. Like, you know, let's give Wolverine some time to relax and just get somebody new in there for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like anyone's gonna hate on Wolverine if it's not Hugh Jackman.
My
But
thing is, it would be. I feel like Wolverine's different because like in the beginning they always referred to as Wolverine and the X-Men.
yeah,
He wasn't officially a part of the X-Men
yeah,
until a few years into it.
and then eventually he just full blown. They stopped name titling comics like that. It was just
Yeah, it was just the X-Men. Yeah.
or his own,
Yeah. But I feel like it'd be kind of weird not having Cyclops, Jean Grey,
right? That's
Storm.
what I'm saying. I'm like I feel like it would be cool. I personally would like, because I read the comics, so it's like I personally would like a different group. But I had thought, I had thought to myself, will that work? You know, will the whole fan base like it?
It's hard to not see iconic characters,
Yeah.
especially when they're the face of that group.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they also, if I'm not mistaken, confirmed they're not gonna call them the X-Men.
Yeah, the mutants.
Yeah, which is for all the people that are getting all mad and butthurt about that. That was Stanley's original name. He was gonna call them the Mutants at first.
And then people were like, no one's gonna know what mutants are.
So he changed it to the X-Men, but that was their original name, the Mutants.
Which is cool. I respect it. But one last thing that I want to talk about, which we had a small discussion on, get to some anime, some Last Airbender stuff.
Yeah, cartoon.
Cartoon.
Wouldn't consider that.
Because I was just thinking animation. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, you had mentioned how Korra was, although more experienced with all the elements quicker,
Not necessarily. Korra
or caught on to
Aang
them.
learned them in a year, and Korra was basically born knowing three of the
Yeah.
elements, and by the time she was like 17 or something, she learned air. I just feel like at the time we saw them doing their stuff, Korra had more attuned to the elements and kind of mastered it more than Aang did at the time. Because remember when they were fighting the Fire Lord, both Katara and Toph said Aang still needed work on off Earth and water, and he didn't even know fire. He
Yeah.
barely knew fire at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like she was a lot more capable. Only difference was, well, not even. She could even use the Avatar state more than he did. She was able to go in and out of it.
I want to. I'm sorry. You can continue. I just want to mention what we're discussing is why was it Korra was treated different from Aang, although, like you said, she immediately knew more on the elements and had more control.
Not even treated differently. She wasn't trusted
There
as
you
much.
go. Mm-hmm.
It was she did a lot of she did a lot of bad, but it's like so did Aang.
Yeah.
Aang did some stuff that ended up fucking them over.
Yeah.
He ran away. It was frozen in ice for 100 years. That's fucking huge. The Avatar wasn't there for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came back and everyone fully trusted him to do things. And
So
yet Korra's here trying to help. And like I'm watching and it's the one character I cannot stand is President Raiko in Legend of Korra. He irritates the shit out of me. Like, who the fuck do you think you are talking down to the Avatar?
right. The Avatar stay your ass. Like,
Yo,
outta here.
but it's just like it's crazy because then they start doing meetings without her, start discussing stuff without her.
Well,
And then then she's like, okay, I want to do this to help people. Oh no, we don't trust you. You're not gonna do it. It's like,
so I was thinking about this when you had mentioned it, and the only thing I could think of, right, where it would make sense as to why Aang was trusted more. God, I did that, and everyone was forced to. And the circumstance that they had, think about like scratch the thought of Korra, right, and just think about the last Airbender and what they were going through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fire Lord was dominating and slowly making his way to dominate the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
They had the comet coming where they were speculating he's going to be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Now that created a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So with that timeline, how do we defeat him? The only way, the strongest person that we know is alive
Mm-hmm.
is the Avatar. So regardless of how experienced he is, we need to put everything into getting into, like, pretty much we have to trust him. We have to, because what else are we gonna do? Which in a sense is kind of stupid, because I felt like if a lot of people did come together, they could have fought him. There were a lot of strong fucking people in that show. But like think about adding everyone. If you had,
was that the Fire Nation had the strongest army.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
They were more capable. Their army was the biggest. They were the most capable.
'Cause
Like, and their technology was wild.
I only say that because like even Iroh kind of in a way was like, I can possibly beat him, maybe, but it's like, so it's like if you alone can possibly beat him, you with like 16 other people probably could.
But then he even said, even if he could, it still wouldn't bring balance to the world,
it'll look
because
like,
the person who's has to do it has to be the Avatar.
yeah,
Because it'll be just look like two brothers fighting for power.
yeah.
And it's the same thing if anybody else were to take on the Fire
Looks
Lord.
like they just
It'd be
want
like two
power.
nations fighting for power instead of a person fighting for balance, which was the Avatar's point.
Yeah.
But my thing is, yeah, that's all good, but really think about Korra's villain. You have Amon in the first season who's threatening to get rid of every bender in the entire world. Then the second season, you had Unavatu, the dark spirit that was gonna bring chaos throughout the entire world. She didn't beat Amon. Well, she pretty much did beat Amon. She forced him to run. So she beat both of those people. And then the third one was Zaire, a person who was threatened to kill every single world leader.
Yo, I love Zaire, such a great villain.
Every single world leader, and bring chaos to the world. And then you have the fourth one wasn't too bad compared to the other three, because all she wanted to was unite the Earth Kingdom. She didn't want to go beyond that.
Yeah.
But then again, she was trying to harness
Do it by
spirit
force.
power,
Oh yeah.
using the spirit vines to create super weapons. Who knows if, because that power could have gone to her head and she could have wanted more.
Been a new fire.
So
Lord.
those four things right there. The only one that was able to stop those was the Avatar. Yet nobody trusted the Avatar.
Unless it could also be a personality thing. Look at the big difference. Whereas Korra had because she knew so much at such a young age, she kind of carried this cockiness to her. Whereas Aang was much more humble.
Another thing that I could only I feel like the one thing that makes sense was Aang wasn't around adults. It was all kids.
That too, and
then
the people.
Korra has all these adults around her.
But you know what it is? I'm starting to remember back, and also think about the situations where they did interact with adults, right? And would approach an adult or a master, let's say, with respect and with this, even if he knew the element, kind of still approach them as if he don't know shit. Whereas Korra always had this like, I know what I'm doing. I'm nice with it, which granted she was nice, but I think that's why people in the show didn't like her. I think that's
But that's the thing, they didn't show that they didn't like her. They emphasized, they even said it, that they didn't trust her because she's messed up. She saved the world 4 times. Even the fact that she saved all of bending is a huge.
Yeah.
Like, and her title alone, the Avatar. She is the Avatar, the only Avatar.
Yeah.
She is supposed to bring balance to the world, and yet you're not even gonna trust her to do what she is meant to be. It's not like everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
They don't have a purpose. They have jobs. They live lives. No, she legit was made for that reason. It's the only purpose of the Avatar is to bring balance to the world and bring peace. Yet you're not gonna trust her to do that. And even then, I can understand. You can argue, oh, she's cocky. Oh, she's inexperienced. Then guide her.
Yeah.
And be there with her. Don't stop her.
I think there were a handful, like 2 or 3, that looked past all that and were just like, wasn't there?
None
Was
of
it,
the adults.
Who
The
was
only
it?
one was eventually halfway through the show, Lin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. No, her sister. Didn't Lynn's sister try
Su
helping her?
Yin, yeah, a bit, but that was only because she grew up very in a restrict household and she felt she needed to give people freedom.
Yeah.
And kind of like the opposite. She felt she grew up with a lot of freedom and felt there needed to be rules, but at the same time needed to give people the choice.
Yeah.
She understood that Korra had to go through what she had to go through.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's like still that's one person, and to make it worse, she spent very little time with Korra. Everybody else spent mad time with Korra, knew what she was capable of, knew her purpose.
Yeah.
Tenzin taught her, and you know the amount of times Tenzin went against her. Like, yo, by now, like at season 3, Tenzin should have 100% faith in Korra.
Yeah.
Same thing
Especially being an
same thing with
Avatar,
President
like-
Raiko. He should have Korra saved his city how many times? You should have so much faith in her.
It's funny though, because we saw in the last Airbender that even with the past avatars, they weren't all respected.
They weren't respected, but by tyrants.
Like, it's true. Like, there was that one avatar, I forget his name, that everyone just thought he was lazy and all he did was...
Kurok. But that was different. It's because no one ever saw him. It's because he lived during a time of peace. So in the physical world, he wasn't needed. But he was needed in the spirit realm. And that's what he did his entire life, was spend his time in the spirit realm fighting spirits, evil spirits. The reason why he wasn't liked was because he wasn't there. People thought he wasn't there.
Thought he was just like sitting
but
around.
because
chilling.
no one saw the war he was fighting. Korra's there.
Yeah,
You
right.
see what she's doing. To make it worse, the amount of times they praised her and they acted like, you're gonna be the greatest avatar ever. And then the next episode proceeds to be like, no, you shouldn't you shouldn't be a part of it. You shouldn't fight. Like, no. Stop. Like, no, go hide. That shit got me, the amount of times they told her to go hide. Got me so tight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, where's Aang? Aang, get over here.
No, because I was sitting there and shit they would tell Korra to do and not to do, all I thought was they would have never done that to Aang. Never.
But then again, Aang probably wouldn't have listened. After a while, Aang was just used to look at
Korra
people
didn't
like,
either, though.
bro, like, who are you?
Korra didn't either, though, which I respect.
Yeah.
Korra didn't. They tell Korra no, and Korra's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm doing it anyways. Which is like 100% what Aang would do.
Yeah.
Aang's like, I'm gonna go save these people. No, don't do it. Aang looks at you like, huh?
Like, I wasn't asking you.
What? I wasn't asking. I'm the Avatar, bro.
That's so true.
And it's
We're getting a movie, right?
Then
We're getting
again, we're getting a few stuff. But then again, think about it. Aang was less political in his younger age.
yeah.
Korra had to deal with politics.
Yeah. You know, I was trying to get my wording because I was thinking about that. I was like, Korra had to deal with, like, government.
Yeah.
Much more government.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good way to put it.
But then again, Aang
Politics.
would have said, fuck the government. I'm the
Yeah, he would've said,
Avatar.
"Fuck
I'm going to save
politics."
these people.
Mhm.
And again, Korra did. That's why I respect Korra's character. Because at the end of the day, all these people were telling her not to do shit. And she was like, fuck off. Even her mistakes.
Yeah.
She had to make those mistakes. That's what a lot of them didn't understand. That's a lot of them in The Last Airbender understood. Aang had to make those mistakes.
To learn, yeah. And it's like they expected her to be...
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it's so true because in Legend of Korra, it's like, you're the Avatar. You should know this already. That's how they treated her. Uh-huh.
And it's just like... Yet they didn't treat Aang like that.
Yeah.
Aang is like, you need to learn. You need to learn. You need to learn. Like, oh... Like...
It's because he was an air nomad, bro.
And then with Korra, it's just like, shouldn't you know this? Oh, you don't know this? Oh, so... Like, in that whole fight with Kavira, I understood she was mentally not there because of what happened to her with Zaire.
Yeah.
But for the fact of the matter is she saved the world 3 times.
Yeah.
Even if she wasn't mentally all there, you should have let her do her thing as the Avatar, but be there and support her.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to hide her? Like, legit, they're talking about what to do with Kavira, and Korra walks in, and they're like, oh, you shouldn't be here.
The strongest person? One of the strongest
Like,
people on
what
the
are
planet?
you
What are
talking about? The Avatar shouldn't be there? And I respect the Fire Lord, Zuko's granddaughter.
Yeah.
Because she didn't say it. When she saw Korra came in, she was like, okay, cool, the Avatar's here.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like Maybe it was just that last season. I don't know why people treated her that way.
Yeah.
Like, I understand she wasn't all there, but neither was Aang in that last season against the Fire Lord.
Yeah, he didn't think he was gonna win. He was
And
just
yet
like,
everyone was still there and supported him. But then again, it was his group, and Korra's group did support her.
Mhm.
Asami, Mako, Bolin, they all
Yeah.
supported her. And they were like, we're here for you. Like, we'll put our life down on the line for you, anything.
Yeah.
I guess it's just President Raiko. That got
Yeah.
me tight.
Asshole.
Like, I don't know why you're questioning the Avatar.
That ass. But yeah, we had a decent week. Next week, hopefully, we have some good stuff. Let us know what you guys think about everything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I know you started to do that, but I didn't answer this question you asked.
Mm.
The movie, I believe it's not a movie. It's a series. I believe they're doing a live action series with Netflix. I don't know if it was canceled.
No, I'm talking about an animated movie.
Oh,
what
yeah.
they did with the studio. The studio.
Yeah, I heard there was a few stuff. I think it was like 2 movies of a series that the studio had confirmed that they're doing.
Mm.
I believe one of the movies was confirmed to be the last book of The Last Airbender, which was with Zuko's mom
Mm.
and all of that.
Okay.
I just want to answer that before we end it because I
Yeah.
realized I completely skipped over your question.
But yeah, let us know what you guys think. Do you guys think ALGS is fair? Did you love DC Fandome? I'm pronouncing it wrong. If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or on Spotify, hit us up on Instagram or Twitter. Almost dropped my iPad.
Goes the iPad.
And we'll see you all in the next one.